Okay, welcome to everyone who's watching this video. I should say this video is for anyone who is trying to clean their kill switch, take it apart and clean the copper inside. Um, and basically this has been well outlined by, I believe it's Mike Smith, who wrote an article on sled heads. And then there's lots of people who have given further support on Dew Talk. And so I've consulted those guys, and so a big thank you to all those guys who take the time to help newbies out every day and post things. And anyway, I'll jump right into it. You got to take out that Phillips screw right out of the bottom there to begin. That'll loosen up your whole throttle assembly there. Once you've done that, you need to take off this cover. There's a cover on the inside to the left. And to do that, you'll notice there's one more little Phillips screw just under the bottom there. So you can access that. Once you take that Phillips screw out, you should be able to just pry this cover out just with a flat screwdriver. Just be real careful. There are a couple small wires just on the other side of that cover, but if you just press lightly around the end, it should pop right off. Once you get that cover off, you'll notice that there's two more Phillips screws just on the inside there that you're going to see attached to the switch itself. You'll notice there's a couple real small wires that go up into the switch as well. So you have to take those Phillips screws out as well. And then once you do, your switch is going to be loosened inside there. The one thing you do need to watch for once you take those screws out is there is a spring and a little copper piece, which is the piece. Once you remove those screws, you may have to pry away a little rubber piece. There's a little tiny plate pushing against that. Once you remove that block and it's loose, there are two tiny black clips that hold the wires, that connect the wires to the switch itself. So you'll see them, and you just unclip them really carefully on the bottom and the top of the switch. And once you do, the switch will come out. The metal piece and the spring might fall down in there. If it's okay, you can grab it, and you'll see where it goes fairly easily when you look at the switch. This is the metal piece, just a little copper piece, and it's hard to see on this video, and I apologize for that. But if you look closely, you'll probably see that it has either a bit of corrosion on there, or maybe even a little bit of plastic from rubbing into the casing on either side of the switch. And that's what you want to clean. So you can scrub that off with just a real light piece of sandpaper, or even probably a Scotch-Brite pad or something not as harsh as a piece of sandpaper. You don't want to remove any of the metal or scrape any of the metal. You just want to lightly take care of all the guck that's formed on the three bumps there. So you notice on the inside there's also just two little contacts that make contact with those copper bumps. You can clean those up as well, just with a little, denatured alcohol or something like that, and they'll clean up fairly easily. And then applying a light coating of dielectric grease as well to the contacts, prevent corrosion, future corrosion, make sure the parts are all moving very well, and dielectric, of course, so that it's insulating. It's not going to spark or have those bumps jump from one to the other. And then there's the switch itself. The spring is going to drop right into that little hole there in the middle, and it's just going to push against that copper plate. So you just drop the spring in there, you drop the copper plate right on top. I've read, I'm not sure if it was Mike Smith's article or maybe some forums on Talk, where a couple people have suggested just maybe dropping a little bit of that dielectric grease on top of the spring before you put the plate on, because then the plate will kind of stick in there. So you're not going to have it fall out when you're trying to wrestle with that switch to get it in. If you just drop a little bit of grease, it'll stick on top, and then it'll stay in place as you're putting the switch back together. And really, other than that, once you put that copper plate in place, you just do the steps in reverse, put everything back, make sure it's nice and tight, and test it out.
We'll see if it works now. Let's see. Oops. Not running very well, but let's see what we can do. Here's a moment of truth. Yes. Yes. Let's try again. I'll barely touch it. Yes, success.